Dad brought home some Fiat when I was like 8 or something with a froze up engine and said, hey, if you can fix it, you can have it. And I took the heads off and pounded the pistons off and out, and it was totally gone. I remember, and I just put the battery in it, and I just turned the key, and we had a circle driveway. I just put it in first gear and turned the key.
Let the starter run.
Started pushing around.
I had the first EV.
Damn.
You were doing this at 8 years old?
Yeah, I was at 8, 10, somewhere in there. Yeah, super young, and yeah, I was totally a motorhead.
Great starter gear and flex plate on that thing.
Yeah, just keep on running.
Yeah, then I just put the battery on the charger and do it again the next day.
Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. I am Josh Henning.
I'm Phil Gerber.
I'm Jeremy Gerber.
Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. Today's guest is Vice President of Marketing at Columbia River Knife and Tool, also known as CRKT. Doug Flagg is going to join us. Doug Flagg is the Vice President of Marketing and Innovation at CRKT. Doug leads product development and marketing strategy. Through his nearly 3 decades in the knife industry, Doug helped define what the modern knife world is today. He brought to market industry-defining innovations and products, including the best-selling CRKT Provoke with Kinematic technology and the popular CEO family of knives. Prior to joining CRKT, he led sales and marketing at Kershaw Knives, where he collaborated with Ken Onion to manufacture Ken's SpeedSafe assisted opening mechanism, a groundbreaking innovation at the time. As a lifelong Jeep guy and outdoorsman, on weekends you'll find Doug rebuilding for the 3rd time his 66 CJ5, chasing elk with a traditional bow or yarding in sturgeon on the Willamette River.
Gentlemen,
how are you?
Doug Flagg, welcome to Oil and Whiskey.
thank you. I actually poured myself one too.
Cheers, man.
Perfect.
Cheers.
You're one of the
Cheers.
few that comes prepared, ready to go.
Yeah.
You would think with the name Oil and Whiskey, more people would understand it's time to drink, but they usually get on here and be like, "Oh, so can we drink? We can do whiskey."
You can do whatever you want.
Sure can.
Anything.
It's awesome because it's 3:00 for me, and I just got done with a board meeting, so
Oh, hey, that is perfect timing.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Oh, it looks like you're in the shop, man. It's a great background.
So yeah, this is my garage. I was going to do it in my office, but it's kind of corporate looking, and
Sure.
I got a bunch of graphs and boring stuff on there. So I figured, you know what? Why not come home, have a glass of whiskey, do it in my garage, and I feel more comfortable here anyways.
Well, after reading this little intro and the things that you've done and been a part of, I would assume that, the boardroom is probably just not the place you want to be.
Yeah, I try to avoid it, but once a quarter, I got to do it.
Yeah, Josh read through, kind of all your accolades and a little bit about you and where you've been, and it kind of sounds like he was introducing John Rambo. So we're very excited to chat with you, man. It sounds like you've had a very interesting career. You're into a lot of neat stuff.
Yeah, going from the whiskey business or actually selling auto parts, wiring terminals, then going to the whiskey business, then to knives. It's just like, wow, and my wife's a 1st grade teacher, and she's like, when are you going to get a job where I can tell my kids what you do?
Yeah, Dad plays with whiskey and knives.
Stuff. Yeah. What?
Yeah, it's been great.
What company were you selling auto parts for?
It was a little company out of Eugene, Oregon called PICO, Pacific Industrial Components. We bought wire and terminal in bulk and then put it in little packages and went around to all the auto parts stores and set up displays and sold them wire and terminals.
So where did the whiskey thing come from?
Well, that was funny because I got out of college and I saw an ad back when there were classified ads in newspapers and I saw this ad for Kershaw Knives and looking for a sales and marketing manager, and I had no idea what I was doing. I went in there and I'm sorry. The whiskey came before that. I got out of college and applied to a job in the classifieds for market sales and marketing manager for Potter Distilleries, which was a company out of Canada, and they had a rectifier, I guess they call it. Can you say that?
Yeah, you can.
And we bought whiskey in bulk and vodka and gin and tequila and everything, and we'd stick it in the bottle and slap a label on it and send it out the door. So it was really the bottom shelf stuff. I mean, we sold vodka by 30,000 cases a month was not uncommon of low end vodka. And eventually, I started moving up, trying to move up brand, because Potter's actually is a distiller up in Canada for the rye, and they actually had some decent rye. Here's my last project was a 17-year-old rye called CEO. You can't even get it anymore, but that's some really good stuff. And booze was just such a marketer's dream because it's all marketing. I mean, guys, after 5 sips, your taste buds are dead anyways.
Right. Well, that's where I was going to ask you if you're selling the bottom shelf vodka stuff and you're moving that type of volume, I mean, you're selling on price point? I mean, how are you marketing?
It's all price. It's all price. Oregon's a controlled state where the state controls the liquor, and you submit your prices, and every store is the same price. At that time they had 235 stores, and every store would have the same price on Potter's, and you'd submit your pricing once a quarter. And if I could get a nickel below my competition, we'd sell 10,000 more bottles. It was just that important. It was crazy.
Man, this is like plastic bottles? I mean, is this like,
oh yeah,
how low end are we talking here?
We're talking low. We're talking low of low. It's at that time was the well vodka. I'm talking, this is 30 years ago. I have no idea what they're doing nowadays, but it was the well vodka that every restaurant bought and put in your, vodka tonic, and unless you ask for an upgrade, that's what you got. And and it's funny because you guys probably know this, but vodka by law has to be odorless and tasteless. So there's really no difference between, at that time, a Potter's or a Smirnoff. Mm-hmm. It's coming from two sources, and they were, they made, I don't know, there were two sources where we bought the distilled spirits, the natural distilled spirits, and then added the water. So the only difference between like a Smirnoff, Gordon's, or Potter's was the water. And out here in Oregon, we got some of the cleanest water there is. And so all these people that are paying a ton of money for fancy vodkas were just wasting money, which was funny. Now the imported laws for vodka are different. So, the Stoli and the Absolute and stuff like that can be a little bit different, but the domestic vodkas are all the same. It's just marketing.
So that still stands true for like a Tito's or some of those brands that have become so big.
I guess.
Yeah, it depends if they're imported or not. If they're domestic, they by law have to be the same.
Yeah,
it's just the water.
It's all over right there in Texas, right? It's distilled, created, bottled in Texas. Huh. Interesting. I never knew that.
Because vodka, there's really no aging or anything else like that. You just take natural grain spirits and mix it with some water and put it in a bottle, slap a label on, and away you go.
I had to be. I'm interested to get into more of the story, but I'm wondering how much sales and marketing, in air quotes, at that level. Like you said, trying to hit a price point, trying to get that nickel to get the shelf space or whatever it is with the controlled state, plays into your skill set later on down the road. Because I would have to assume that it's way harder to get excited or to do anything creative in that type of environment than it is if you were just thrust into some luxury name brand that had a following and then you kind of were continuing the same old or whatever. But I mean, working with a controlled state and doing it's not exactly glamorous from a marketing standpoint.
It wasn't glamorous, but oops, I made the best of it. Let me get my light. I made the best of it. Like we had a Kahlua knockoff that was, Kahlua at that time was $30 a bottle, somewhere like that. And ours was $9.99. And blind taste tests we do, ours came out, scored, people couldn't tell the difference. I mean, it was that good, but we didn't sell hardly any. So I marked it up to like $25 to see what would happen. And we sold more because the perceived value.
It is funny how that works.
It happens that way on the alcohol all the time.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on this podcast a bunch of times. You go in there and sometimes you just feel it. You want to try something new. There's so much crazy stuff coming in all the time, right? And you want to take a gamble, but it's difficult to gamble on a, $32 bottle, versus being like, oh man, it says 4 years and it's $90 and whatever. It might be pretty good. It's a cool bottle, great label, and you're going to give it a shot. And it just reaffirms, like you said, all they're doing is making it cost more because they know people are going to do that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's human nature, I guess. But so I learned a lot there. I mean, it's so much of liquor is marketing stuff. I mean, there is a difference. I mean, I don't know what you guys are drinking now, but from the shows I've listened to, you guys drink nothing but the best.
This one's a new one for us, the Jefferson's Ocean, but it's the weeded mash bill.
But you want to talk about marketing? I mean, this is this is marketing magic here. So Jefferson's Ocean, they call it Ocean Aged at Sea, and right there on the bottle itself, there's a little ship. Well, not a little ship, it's a big ship.
Ship.
The way they sell it, which interestingly enough, we met the actual dude who owns the ship, or knows the dude who owns the ship. They put the barrels on a ship, and then the barrels live on the ship for quite some time.
This one's got the whole voyage on the back of it that tells exactly how long it was.
And the idea is, that the barrels are constantly moving. The whiskey's constantly moving around in the barrels because of the sea, and it ages, and the humidity and the temperature and all that's supposed to be conducive to making it delicious. Which it's fantastic. Whether that just happens to be the mash or it actually has anything to do with it being in a boat, who knows? But great marketing play, right?
That's incredible marketing.
Yeah.
And that's what it took. And it started, 30 years ago. I mean, Absolute, I think vodka was the first one to kind of put it in that cool bottle. The rest of us were just putting it in the regular fifth bottle, and Absolute came in and put in that cool bottle. And then they had ads that were just, if I remember right, it's just like one word, and they'd show the bottle yeah, it was genius too. It's crazy.
Marketing is wild. I mean, you look at what is the water?
Death water.
No, what's the name of it?
Death proof. Death.
No, damn it. Why?
What is?
Well, they didn't do that good of marketing because I can't remember it now.
Death wish.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's
my son drinks
Liquid Death.
Yes, liquid death. So that's water.
Yeah.
It's water.
Yeah.
It's literally water. You can get it out of the faucet. You get it anywhere. And they put it in a can.
But it looks like you might be drinking something kind of cool, maybe alcoholic.
Exactly. And that is, I mean, water's just to think of all the different ways they've branded them, the different receptacles they've put them in. And that dude, I mean,
I think it tastes like a can to myself.
A little bit, but it doesn't matter that when that guy's on his jet, he doesn't care if you think it tastes like a can. He did pretty well with that.
Did he really?
This is a funny story talking about water. So I'm at Potter's and we have all the bottling equipment. We have 3 lines that we can bottle, 50,000 cases a month of whatever. And we're all sitting there and sales are going like this. And we're sucking and, losing money. And we're kind of sitting around the break room. We may have been drinking or not. I don't remember. But we're sitting there and one of the guys goes, "Hey, we should bottle water." And we all laughed our asses off at him. I mean, this was in 1985 and we're laughing, or 1988, and we're laughing at him. Who would buy water out of a bottle?
Yeah.
And God, we look back at that. If we'd done that, I wouldn't be here.
It's wild.
Yeah. Marketing is just, it's all about the perceived.
So how long were you doing the Potter's deal?
I did that for 4 years, and they got bought out. I think they were bought out 3 times in the 4 years I was there, and then they finally shut down the Portland operation and moved it to San Jose. And they wanted me to move to San Jose, and I said, "Nah, I'm not going to do that."
So you back to the classifieds in the paper?
Back to classifieds, yeah. Then I found the job for Kershaw, and went in, and I think I actually took one of these to Pete Kershaw, and he sat there interviewing me, and I put one of these on his desk. Little did I know he was a big ride lover, and he popped it open and started drinking, and the next thing I know, I had the job.
Man, fantastic! That worked out
Look
pretty
how
well.
things work out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the best interview because I think I said 3 words the whole thing. I mean, it just he's a talker and started talking about all the whiskey he likes, and yeah, it was great.
I apologize, but it's a little bit before my time on Kershaw itself. So where is Kershaw at in the market at that point in time?
So at that point in time, that was 1994. Pete started in 1974, and he actually sold to the Kai, the current owners now, in 1977. But he ran the company, like he owned it. And so he started in 74. At that time, in 94, Kershaw was small. I think we had 15 people. Snap-on was 90% of our business, or 95% of our business. It was just a huge part of the business. The designs had gotten tired. Everything was made in Japan, and the Japanese yen was going crazy on value, and our prices were going up 30% a year, and it was struggling. It was really struggling. And I started, and I think I was there 6 months, and I'm looking at this going, holy crap, what do we do? And I'm sitting down with Pete, and I said, we got to find another source, man. We can't buy knives from Japan. It's too expensive, and it's just not working. So Pete and I hop on a plane. We go to the headquarters of Kai in Tokyo and present a whole plan to manufacture in the U.S. and being the best option. And at the end of the presentation, the owner goes, okay. And they're like, okay, what does that mean? It means okay. Go do it. I think my plan, I think I said it cost him $1 million. I think it totally ended up costing $2 million to start a factory. But, even today, Kershaw's still, I don't know where they're at now, but when I left, they were like 75% USA made stuff.
That's pretty cool.
So it was a really cool story, and it was a learning experience to start manufacturing from scratch. I mean, we had 0 machines, and we got the money and started buying machines and hiring the right people, and it was a ride. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember one of my first pocket knives after the Swiss Army knife, which is that's like a rite of passage, right? But I think my dad got me a Kershaw, and because I was doing a lot of fishing back then, that had to be like 89 or 90.
Really?
And I think it was like a brick. It was like like a cassette tape, or just this massive chunk. Came in a little Velcro case. It was ribbed on the side.
Probably a lockback.
Yeah,
was it a lockback?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the model 1050 folding hunter, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
They had brass bolsters and phenolic handle.
Yeah.
And, gorgeous.
It was a beast. But
gorgeous, but a brick.
Yeah, right. To see where they've come. I mean, from that to then when they came out with the Ken Onion, the assisted openers that made such a cool sound when you open them. That had to be a game changer. Were you a part of that?
I was absolutely a part of that. So we started the manufacturing, and we were struggling, frankly. I mean, we were making some of the designs that were designed in Japan, and we were making those, and they weren't really going that great. And we were struggling to make them because we were new to manufacturing. And I heard about this guy in Hawaii who had this invention that assisted the knife and helped open it. And I was like,
nah,
what is this? So I had an excuse to go to Hawaii. So my wife and I flew to Hawaii, and I met with Ken Onion, and we pull up to his house, and he just has a regular, suburban house, and the garage door's open. He walks out, and he's got a leather apron on and boxers, and that's it.
That's cool.
That's an image. In Hawaii, you're talking about?
He's got tattoos everywhere, and I'm just going, holy crap, what is going on here? So so we meet with him, and he won't show me the mechanism, but he lets me play with the knife, and you start the blade open, and it just pops. And I'm like, holy shit, this is money. This is we got to do this, And Ken developed that because he was making switchblades there in Hawaii, and he got a knock on the door one day, and I don't know, law enforcement came and started giving them bad time for they're illegal in Hawaii. Give him bad time. So Ken's the kind of guy, if you tell him no, he's gonna do it anyways. And you guys should get him on. He's awesome. he investigated the federal laws and all the state laws on what defined a switchblade. And what he found out was a switchblade is defined by law, a button in the handle. Well, Ken did not put a button in the handle. He had the thumb stud on the blade or the flipper.
Yep.
And so you started over, and it all came from like, going over center on a cam, and it goes over center and that blade pops open. It did not fit the description, the legal description of a switchblade. So we signed a deal, and I mean, it took a little while. I mean, he had Gerber was courting them, and some other companies and stuff, but we just hit it off. Our kids were the same age. We're the same age. We went out to some luau's, drank way too many Mai Tais, and we just had a good time. And what I told Ken at Kershaw, what I told Ken was, at Kershaw, you're going to be part of the team. We're not that big, and what you do is going to have an impact. Where Gerber's such a bigger company, you're just going to be another guy. So he went with us, and Kershaw had never done a collaboration with a custom knife guy or anybody like that, and convinced the Japanese and Pete Kershaw to do it, and we started doing it, and it was rough at first. I mean, first knives were the Random Task. I don't know if you guys ever saw one of those. They're freaking awesome if you ever see one. And Random Task and Mini Task were the first assisted openers. And then we moved into Whirlwinds and Blackouts. And then what really, people are cutting the shit out of themselves because of the thumb stud. And they're so used to following the thumb all the way to open the blade that they were doing that. The blade was already open, and then they'd follow it and just fillet their thumb. Oof. So we even put little training wheel covers on the blade so they wouldn't cut themselves. And it started really selling. But the trick was when he came out with the leak and you hit the flipper on the back of the
game changer
handle. Yeah. That game changer. Yeah. It went from here to off the charts, man. It was unbelievable. We couldn't make them fast enough.
The sound it made was like the switchblade sound in a movie. Like what they wanted a switchblade to sound like. That thing sounds so cool.
His mechanism is public domain now. So here at CRKT we're doing it. So I don't know if you can hear that, but that's that same mechanism.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the CRKT stuff, it's on the flipper side. That was the very first thing I noticed when I got that CEO knife, was like, holy shit, this thing functions.
It's got a great action.
Phenomenal.
And that's doesn't have a spring either.
Right.
It's just, the industry evolved. We put bearings in there now, and you don't need the spring. I still love the spring. I mean, there's nothing like it. It opens up every time and makes that nice noise, so it's great. But yeah, so Ken really turned Kershaw around. I mean, his designs were, the chive, the leak, the scallion. I mean, just go on. We ran out of onion names. A gal named Shawnee's the one that named them all, and she deserves huge credit because those names are awesome. It was kind of like Apple at that time. Apple was, computers were, people would get uptight about computers. You name an Apple, nobody's offended by an Apple. Well, nobody's offended by a chive or a leak or a scallion.
Right.
And it really helped to broaden the market, and it changed the whole industry. SpeedSafe assisted opening was a industry changer, and everybody tried to copy it, and everybody tried to do it, and nobody could come up with a better mechanism, and it's now the industry standard on assisted opening.
What kind of things were you doing back in that day? Because you had, traditional knife guys. You had guys that needed a knife, and you had guys that were into knives, and you had collectors of, buck or case or stuff like that, whatever. But the marketplace wasn't what it is in the last 15 years, where everyday carry became so mainstream across all walks of life, any profession. It's more of a hobby to collect things that you say you're carrying every day, which let's all be honest, at the end of the day, nobody's really every day carrying that big pile of things that they take pictures that say EDC.
Well,
right?
Back then it was like Grandpa would pull it out to carve some little wood figurines. That's why you had a knife in and it was an old timer.
Your uncle that came over for Thanksgiving that, cussed a lot, he'd have one, but from my son and your son as well. I mean, my son's 16 now, but I mean, even at 12 years old, he was like wanting to collect knives and he was looking at all the hot stuff that was out there. So really the last 15, probably 20 years, but probably say 15 years, it became fashionable. It became a thing. But in that time, what were you doing to try to get it mainstream or to get it in front of new knife owners?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, the business built from the Snap-on Tool group. I mean, those guys sold knives to technicians and car guys every day. And I mean, they became the voice, and they're the ones where it kind of spread out. And it was huge. It was huge for Kershaw. It was huge for Ken. It's, huge for us. And, they use a knife every day, a lot of those guys. And that's where kind of EDC kind of evolved from, I think. And then it just kind of spread out. But it was a totally different world then. You didn't have the EDC crowd that you have now.
Was there just such a great profit margin built into them, or how did they stay afloat with all the warranties, being that they're selling them through Snap-on and every technician takes that thing out and uses it as a pry bar? And it's great that they warrantied the blades, right? So you could go and you put 10, 15 blades on the damn thing, but you wedge that sucker in something and lean on it. I mean, I don't care what it's made out of. If it's kryptonite, you're going to crack it.
Right.
Yeah, that's still a problem today. Is the warranty?
Right.
Those guys are brutal. I mean, they don't sharpen knives; they just break the blades in a vise.
No questions.
Sorry,
asked,
Snap-on
right?
guys. I know all you guys don't do that, but I mean, there's enough of you guys that we see enough returns on that. Yeah, it is a problem. And it goes beyond that. I mean, guys are buying knives other places. They buy it at Cabela's and they turn it into their Snap-on guy because they know they'll get a replacement. You just. I mean, it's built into the price for sure. And then you just kind of rely on volume that you keep selling more than. If you ever go out of business, your warranty is going to pass your sales at some point. So it's built in to the cost, but we don't like it. I mean, all the knife companies could reduce their prices if we didn't have that warranty problem of abuse. Warranties warranty. I mean,
exactly.
If there can be inclusions in the blade steel that you can't see. We can't see when the blade is ground or anything. I mean, they're just buried in the steel, and blades will break. I mean, it happens.
But it's nothing to do with the quality of any of the products. It's a culture with Snap-on and your tool guys that it's the guys that have been buying forever and their dads bought and stuff like that. It's the culture of it. You might pay an arm and a leg to the truck guy, but it doesn't matter. You can break it, lose it, whatever. Turn in a Craftsman socket, and you're going to get a socket. But that's just that mentality of once you start buying with your tool guy, he'll fix your washing machine if it breaks. That's their mentality of. And that's it. I get it, but it's like you said, on the suppliers, it's
tough.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's brutal.
How long were you at Kershaw?
10 years. 10 years. And, it's really funny because the knife industry is just, I mean, Pete Gerber really started it in Portland area. And,
right, my uncle, right?
Oh, yeah. Is he really?
No, I wish. No,
I know you got the Gerber name. Is there any relation?
No, unfortunately not. No. But it sounded cool. Right?
It did sound. Yeah, old Uncle Pete.
Yeah, so really, I think Pete Gerber started in the 50s, and he was an advertising agency. And he went to Japan on some visit or something and saw super cool kitchen knives. And he bought some for his best customers. He bought them and brought them over, and the customers say, we want more. And then he just started making some kitchen knives for his clients, and then realized he could make pocket knives, and pretty soon he's not doing advertising anymore. He's a knife business. And then they got bought out by Fiskars, the orange handle scissor people, years ago. I don't even remember how long. But Pete Kershaw was the sales manager for Pete Gerber. And so Pete Kershaw saw an opportunity to make um, better knives, and he left Pete Gerber to start Kershaw Knives. Well, Rod Bremer, the owner of CRKT, was the sales manager for Pete Kershaw. And when he saw an opportunity to make knives in Taiwan versus in Japan, and left Kershaw, and that's who I replaced, and started CRKT. And
That's crazy.
And so Portland ends up, I think we have 9 knife companies now. Benchmade moved up from California because Lestiasis got busted for switchblades down there, and they're legal up here in Oregon. Tim Leatherman just happened to live here and born here, and he's here. And we got Gerber, Kershaw, Benchmade, CRKT. There's a Coast Cutlery. There's William and Henry is out in McMinnville. They're out of town here a little bit. They moved up from California just because it's easier to do business up here. I don't know. There might be. There's James Brand. James Brand is
James
here.
Brand, yeah.
That's wild, man. It's like Elkhart, Indiana for trailers, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Everything's being built there, but that's wild. And especially, how do you get a guy with the last name Leatherman? And then you go on to do that? I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Actually, my last name should have been like Hot Rod. Imagine, no? Jeremy Hot Rod?
That'd be a little weird. Leatherman's cool, though.
Yeah, it's fucking badass.
Yeah, that's a cool name. I watched your one show where you guys were talking about Colt Wrangler.
Yeah,
that's a cool name.
That's the best name. The best name. Yeah. So you, it just, timing was right to make the move from Kershaw, or just...
Yeah, Rod's partner retired, and Rod called me up and said, "Hey, Doug, and I know you've been doing the job over there at Kershaw. I need help." And Kershaw was great. I mean, I learned everything and stuff, but they were still Japanese owned and hard to work for because if you stand out, you kind of get thumped down. So I'm like, yeah, go to work for an American and good guy. And I knew Rod through all the years. We'd seen him at all the shows and talked to him and all that stuff. So yeah, I came over and been here 19 years since.
Wow,
that's awesome.
What's almost 30 years doing knives, and I still screw up. I can't believe it.
What's your first project? You come to CRKT. What's the first thing they throw you into?
Oh my God! Oh, we had the this one goes on our Hall of Shame. We had the Merlin. It was a way to carry a knife. Rod showing this to me. I go, no, I don't want to do this project. But that was more of a sheath thing. As far as knives go, let's see. We started working with Alan Elishewitz. We had I think at that time it was called Anubis. Super cool button lock, made in Taiwan. Awesome action and everything. Did that one. Did some Ed Van Hoy projects with snap fires and the crazy one, the snap lock.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed Halligan with the Kiss knife. I don't know if you ever saw. That's really what got CRKT started, was the Kiss knife that had the blade on one side, just one side of the handle, and they'd come out with that in '98, and that's really the knife that put them on the map.
The Kiss
was
knife.
the Kiss knife, yeah.
Dude, we need a guy like Rogan has, so you could be like, "Hey, Jamie, pull up that Kiss knife."
I'm
hey,
that guy.
Hey, Josh.
I'm just.
I should have brought one. I should have. I got other samples. Yeah, can you see the Kiss?
Yeah.
I mean, that knife
it's cool.
I remember being at Kershaw looking at that going, holy shit, how'd they do that? I mean, that's crazy. And so we did some variations of that. That was projects. And then, of course, the M16 is the next knife that came in after the Kiss knife that defined CRKT. And you guys have all seen, I'm sure, the M16. I got one here. This is the deadbolt version.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me get back to you. There we go.
I pulled that up again. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So, and that's been, I mean, Rod supported the troops. I mean, probably sent 500,000 units down to Iraq and Afghanistan, to on the Desert Storm and all those. So all the soldiers that came back with their M16, and they've been selling ever since. I mean, it's just a simple knife designed by Kit Carson. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing not to like about it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just works.
Right. At that point, when you come, where is the brand at that point? Is that a price point deal? Is that another, we're getting spots on the tool trucks? Is that, I mean, it's newer, so.
Yeah, we were, Rod had really started the business on value, coming out with, his whole concept. He's not a designer. He's not a knife maker. He's like he says, he's a knife peddler. And, he didn't know how to design knives or anything. So what he did different was he went to the custom knife makers like Kit Carson and Ed Halligan and Russ Comer and all these guys. And he licensed their designs and took them to market at a price that, everybody could afford. So you take, you take like a Kin Onion custom knife. I mean, you're going to pay, if you can even get one, which you probably can't, $5,000-$10,000 for. Well, CRKT takes that design. Here's one of Ken's original. I mean, this is one of his early designs. We take this knife and we reverse engineer it, and we'd sell for $100 to $150. And so Ken would get a royalty. The knife user would get an awesome design, and we'd get the sales and all that. So it's a business model that just. Rod was really the pioneer on that. Now everybody's doing it. We, Savivi, Boker, everybody does it now, because you can tell when a knife is made by a knife maker versus, somebody sitting behind a computer just doing it on CAD. I mean, Ken looks at every angle, every part of this is thought out. And I mean, it's just like building hot rods. I mean, it's just, you can tell the difference between a designer and an actual maker, and the companies realize that having engineers just sitting behind a CAD CAM program isn't going to give them the designs they need. Yeah.
Let me ask you how that those initial conversations with those artists. I would assume that they can go one of two ways, and are they? I could just see guys that would be like, okay, that's fine. You're going to pay me royalties and stuff like that. But is it generally after you talk to them and explain to them that you can get it, or is it a 50-50 shot, or does everybody are they honored to be asked, or are there guys that be like, nope, I'd rather keep my name brand and not dilute it. I don't want a guy having a $150 Kin Onion knife. I want him to have a $10,000, the 20 of them a year that I'm going to do.
It's probably like looking at like a Yoder power hammer versus a Bailey power hammer, right? It's got soul. Like we can't reproduce it. It's got soul.
Right.
But then when you reproduce it, it actually usually works a little bit better.
It's better when more people use them.
It appeals to the masses, right?
Yeah, most guys are happy. Knife makers are not making a lot of money. Most of them, there's about 5 guys in the whole industry who actually make some decent money, but so they're happy when we approach them. A lot of times they approach us on, hey, can we do a collaboration and work together and do this? There's a few guys. We just signed Michael Walker, who is the premier knife maker in the world. I mean, his knives sell for over $100,000. He makes 3 a year, and his stuff is just off the charts. I mean, it's so freaking cool. The materials he uses are just off the charts and stuff. So he was, we worked with him early, and then there was a span of time where he just stuck to his custom stuff. And now we just started working with him again. Just launched one of his knives now. It's got mother of pearl pivot, carbon fiber.
Wow, that
Damas
steel blade. I mean, just
we
gorgeous.
didn't get one of those in that shipment.
You didn't get one of those?
No, we didn't.
And I'm a sucker for mother of pearl.
I know. I know you are.
Man, do I like mother
Man,
of pearl.
I'm going to tell Kyle, quit being so damn cheap. With this design
good.
for Michael Walker, it'd be $100,000. From us, it's $400, $500.
So
that's cool.
Out of curiosity, first of all, who buys? What's the clientele on a knife like that? Because it's so specific.
For $100,000 knife?
Yes.
Yeah. It's art. It's art. It's an art collector. It's just art that
So
actually
you don't carry
does
that
something.
around and like occasionally cut a box open with that.
I wouldn't think
is...
a guy that's spending $100,000 needs to ever cut a box. He's got people that cut boxes for him.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I got it. All right.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Cool.
It's it's a mystery to me, but there's enough of them out there that guys like Michael Walker. I mean, he makes a living and doing it.
Well, and especially
I
like
think
you
it's
said,
great.
the fact that he does 3 a year. There's those guys that run in those circles. They got the money. The fact that he only does 3 a year is why somebody would pay $100,000, because the chances are that his other buddies that he's always trying to outdo won't be able to get one, right? So he will be the king for that year until somebody else finds something else rare that guy that can't get.
Yep.
Yeah. And in case you didn't know, Michael Walker's the inventor of the liner lock.
Oh, wow.
the lock that's on every freaking knife that you have probably in your pocket now.
So he can take his time and build 3 knives a year.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
Everything's
the
good for him.
inventor of the liner lock.
Wow. Is that's patented, obviously?
No, he didn't patent it. He didn't patent it.
Oof, man, that one hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, he
Damn.
he didn't patent it, unfortunately. I'm seeing him tomorrow. He's flying in tomorrow, so we have a knife show.
Yeah, I
out
wouldn't
here
rub that
Oregon.
in. It's probably not good to rub that in.
No.
You mean the knife industry is not a bunch of upstanding individuals and companies that have been like, hey, man, I just want to let you know you probably should patent this because we're about to take it.
Yeah. You talk about it is a good industry. Flavio Icoma out of Brazil invented the IKBS ball bearing system and never, he's down in Brazil. He doesn't have any money. He doesn't know how to patent. He doesn't know how to do anything in the U.S., but he invented putting bearings in to make the blade open easier. And I remember talking to him. I was like, God dang, that's a cool system. And I call him up, say, can we use it? And he says, yeah, just don't pay me anything. Just give me recognition that I invented that. And I'm like, cool. Yeah, we can do that. So IKBS is most of the upstanding companies give Flavio credit for it, and he deserves it.
Wow.
That is cool, man. That's a great industry. Yeah, the hot rod industry's got some really good stuff like that going on, but that's cool.
Yeah, that is good. Like, especially, like you said, a large company that's, got your executives running stuff and all that to make sure that they've got that IK. Because like you said, at the end of the day, he couldn't do anything about it if you didn't, but it's showing that you care and a little bit of respect and pay homage to the guy that figured it out.
When he did something like that, is he sourcing an existing bearing from some sort of piece of machinery and says,
No.
man, I could put this in a knife and make this thing just like butter? Or is that like clean slate? I'm making a slim, tiny little bearing and I'm going to put it in a knife.
So he's down in Brazil. He's got nothing. He's got some stainless balls.
Okay.
And he doesn't even have a mill. He has a drill press. And he literally by hand somehow mills the track and then puts one ball in there at a time.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It puts grease in there and calls it good. And that's originally how we started making it. And what a pain in the ass, and then you open the knife up to clean it and bearings fall all over the place. And so I say, Flavio, can we just use a cage bearing? They're available here off the shelf in the U.S. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, Doug. That's fine. So now we use cage bearings and it's a hell of a lot easier.
Can you imagine that? The time? Especially for just the first one. Like,
Dude, I'm always so intrigued by that type of innovation.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing when you've got, I guess it puts things in perspective. Like, I never feel like we have these phenomenal accomplishments because we've got so much talent and resources. And then because you look at things like that, like some dude sitting there that, like, it's running on coal, or he's cranking the damn drill. It's a hand crank drill press, and
especially anything that's
it's wild to think like
that has to be concentric, or it has to be a circle, and it'd be different of like doing art or doing something, even how long it took,
correct,
straight line or something that's asymmetrical or something like that you had, but a perfect circle, that's.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
I don't know how he did
the precision of it is really impressive, right? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he's crazy. I don't know how he did it. He is super talented, smart guy.
Well, pivoting a little bit, tell us about the Jeep. You've had that thing since you were 12 years old, huh?
Yeah. I bought this thing sight unseen from my uncle. It's a 66 CJ5, and I was born in 62, so I must have been, he must have been driving me around it when I was like 8 or something, probably in 1970 or something. I just remember this little cute red Jeep, top off, and we're going around. We're picking up hitchhikers and bringing them home to my mom, who was pissed off because they smoke weed and do stuff. And then he called me up when I was 12 and said, "I'm going to sell the Jeep. Do you want it?" I said, "Hell yeah," because I remember this little red thing, beautiful little red CJ5. And so I went and mowed lawns and sent him $500 sight unseen. And he had since then moved back to Indiana, and which I had no idea that there was salt on the roads back there. And we finally go on a family vacation. This cracks me up. My dad, we had a 300D Mercedes. Remember those 5-cylinder Mercedes diesels? And we go back there on family vacation. He puts a tow hitch on it. He built the tow hitch, I think. And we get there, and this CJ5's out in the middle of this field with grass coming up through the floorboards, and it's green. It's uglier than hell. And I'm just going, holy shit. At that time, $500, you could get a running Jeep.
Yeah.
And I was just, one run, timing chain had skipped a couple teeth. And so we tow that thing back with a 300D Mercedes and all the way back to, at that time, California. And I start tearing into it. And Dad and I go to lift the body off, and it just breaks in half. It's just, the rust is just totally gone. And so I go back to mowing lawns and everything and buy a fiberglass body from somebody down there. Maybe it was Brian Chachua or something. I don't know. I buy a fiberglass tub for it. And since then we move up to Oregon, and I start piecing it together, and piece by piece, and I still have it today. It's right there in the background.
Did anybody ever say anything to your uncle about taking advantage of a 12-year-old kid with that $500?
I hope my dad did, but I don't know. I think my dad was like, "That's a lesson, boy."
It looks like from our angle, does it not have a front end on it? And is there a chassis, a base frame sitting right in front of it?
Yeah, I got a new frame for off Craigslist. I'm going to box it in and do a shackle reversal and all that, because the one under it now has been welded so many times, and sometimes on the trail, and it's just gone, the frame under that. I mean, nice. I've done the Rubicon Trail, and we go to the sand dunes a lot, and the torque and all the twisting, it cracks every time I go out, and it's done. So I'm going to build just from in my spare time, just box it all in and reverse the shackles and transfer everything over to that and go for another 50 years, maybe.
I can't think of anything that I've held on to from the age of 12, maybe smoking cigarette habit from age of 12 till now, but there's not anything else that I could think of that I would, and you've held on to an entire vehicle. I mean, through moves and stuff like that.
Dude,
think of something right now that you could put your hands on that you knew you had at 12 years old.
Dude, I'm a pack rat. I could name 1,000. I keep
since 12 years old.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I keep everything. I've got my Camaro. I've had since I'm 15, and I've still got that. So we're close.
All right,
there you go. Yeah, I'm 60 now. So
there's probably some baseball cards and stuff like that from 12. But other than that, if it didn't go in that one box when I moved out, like if it didn't go in that box, I don't have it.
So even a Jeep. Like I have a CJ7, so, cool Jeep story. And that's from probably 16, 17, somewhere around there. It was my buddy Fence. It lives in my mom's yard today, and it's been overtaken by the forest. So, I've never brought this up, but that was one of the first, like, really kind of in-depth projects that I ever did, like, by myself. I made mounts, welded up mounts and everything for a 350. So put a small block in it and carbureted, and it was pretty cool. We did it like a aluminum dash and drilled it all out and put autometer gauges in it, and it was super. Right. It was super badass. Yeah. He had it painted at Mako, and I remember we fought one of the neighbors as a result of it. So we built this CJ5. So it's got purple hornies. You remember those mufflers back in the day, purple hornies? Yeah. And it was so damn loud. And we're in this little neighborhood, and we keep pulling it out. We were troubleshooting something, so we'd pull it out, and we were being fairly respectful. You'd go out to the main street, and this new guy is in the neighborhood, this like Russian dude, right? So my buddy Fenn, he's driving, I'm in the passenger seat, and this guy tries to stop us, and I'm like, we've lived here forever, right? I'm like, fuck this guy, right? Keep going. I don't want to listen to what this guy has to say. We're in the middle of tuning this car. Well, the next time around, the guy was not happy with me brushing him off, so he jumps up on the running board and tries to take a swing at me like a windmill over the top of my buddy Fenn, who's driving, who happens to be like a very muscular dude, right? So he grabs this dude, like as the guy's swinging, grabs him by the throat and pins him up against the windshield. And we're two 16-year-old kids in this thing, like beating up the neighbor, right? Which was his own fault.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done it.
But at any rate, that thing still, he moved out of state. It had some issues. It ended up in my mom's yard, and now it's overgrown by large mature trees. Tree recently fell on it, caved in the windshield.
Earth is
and
just taking it back.
Yeah, my mom's constantly on my ass about like, are you going to do something with this damn Jeep? No,
it had to be helicoptered out.
I think so. Or you could cut the trees down. But yeah, a helicopter would probably be easier on me.
Oh man, it sounds like you got a project just waiting.
Yeah, there's like a certain sentiment about it that still sits. And I'm like, man, his dad bought it for him, and the project, and his dad passed away, and there's still always part of me that's like, man, I should dig that out and like we should do something with it for him. But it is fucked, dude. It's in such bad shape, But yeah, I cut my teeth on that back in the day.
I mean, that's awesome that you've had that long, done that many iterations on it. How many miles do you think you've put on it since you've had it?
Oh God, I've been through 3 motors. A couple speedometers. I mean, I always change to different speedometers.
All Jeep motors?
Jeep used that Buick 225 Oddfire V6.
Is it the Dauntless, they called it?
Dauntless, yeah. And I've stuck with that. That thing off-road there's nothing like it. It is just the low end on that thing just goes. So yeah, I've done all 3 of those 225 Dauntless, which some were Buick, some were Jeep. But yeah, it's been great.
They're cool trucks.
Yeah. Yeah. The last time it was rebuilt, though, I'd been bored too many times. They couldn't bore it, so they had to sleeve it. And the machine shop did that, and then I put it back together and started up, and it's clank, 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 and I'm like, what the hell's that? Then it'd warm up and go away. I'll drive it. But every morning it was clank, 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 and it just kept getting worse and worse. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do something. So I pull the head off, and the sleeve is going up and down.
It had to get hot to get it to seat.
Oh my God! So, being broke at the time and not knowing, have enough money to have in the shop, I think went out of business that did it, and no wonder. And I just had to do something, so I took that sleeve and I just marred it all up. I took JB Weld and I just coated it.
just peen it over and
took a piece of wood and just hammered that back in, and I bet you it's got 50,000 miles on it since then, and doesn't clank at all.
That's fantastic. Man, you could send a microscopic piece of metal through like a power steering pump or something, or even a motor nowadays, and it murders it.
Yeah.
But you can have a sleeve come out of one of those and just hammer it back in with a block of wood, and you got 50K left.
Oh, I did a 289 rebuild in a Galaxy, 59 Galaxy way back in the day. Didn't have any money. Rebuilding the 289 that was in it and stuff. The motor had already been replaced when I got and I remember like rings, filing them myself, and then, sending a dingleberry down and like cleaning up the cylinder walls, and putting it together and like hoping for the best. The thing ran, drove, great, had power, never made a noise, never smoked, never ran oil. But like you're saying, I mean, you could do, a $10,000 set of billet heads for an LS, and
yep.
One little thing, or even the heads be bad, you know, something be fucking stupid. Like the shade tree shit sometimes still can.
Oh, yeah, really. We had a motor here. We had a big block Chevy. A customer brought the car and he was just trying to get it like together to get rid of it, that he had somebody putting it together. And we go to fire this thing up and it's running for a little while and then it starts making some funky noise. And we keep driving it and driving it. It's still making some noise. Well, apparently the guy that did it originally, that was putting this thing together, you could tell they were really long 3/8 bolts. So they looked like the bolts that you would put through the engine stand.
Oh,
All laid in the valley of it. And then he put the intake and everything on it. Man, were they mangled. But it was running like it.
Yeah.
It powered through them for a little bit. But the Jeeps are cool. I'm always interested because we're in the chassis business and we do a tremendous amount of four-wheel drive chassis. And we do some of like the Jeep Wagoneers. We've done a Gladiator, but any of the CJs, still to this day, we've never had a single request for a chassis for them. And I really like them. And I'm curious if you can shed any light, or if you have any idea what it is with that crowd.
That enthusiast market's different than, like you said, like a C10 market or a Bronco market or a F, you know, it's a different, I mean, like you didn't even think about buying an aftermarket chassis. You went and got a chassis off of Craigslist and you're boxing it yourself. Is that most of the Jeep guys?
I think so. I think that's the difference. Yeah. Or the Bronco guys are going to go buy a new chassis. I should just buy a new chassis. I'm going to spend hours on this, and who knows if it's going to go down the road straight. But, you know, to me, it's a hobby. It's fun.
So you're going to box that whole frame yourself. Is it a C-channel? All the rails are just C-channels?
Yeah.
So walk me through the process. You're doing this in your garage. How are you going to tackle something like that?
So I'm going to go buy steel, and then I'm going to hold it up there and I'm going to trace it. And then I'm going to take my cutting torch and cut it to get it close. And then I'm going to start tack welding and grinding. And
man, I want to see a video of that so we can show all the guys here, because here we make a lot of frame rail. You know, we build them out of 4 pieces of laser cut metal. And if somebody had to do that here, oh man, would they have a fit? If it's not laser cut and if perfectly fit, I mean, and granted we do this professionally, so it should be, but
right.
I couldn't imagine taking a cutting torch you're talking like 10 feet.
Oh, you did box and plates
I did.
on.
Right.
No, well, I'm saying, remember during COVID, you were doing your own project, right? And you just boxed basically not even a full back half.
Yeah.
And think about doing it.
Yeah, full length. And I had at least a nibbler, right?
Right.
So that's a step up from a cutting torch. But I can't remember the last time I cut something with a torch.
Man.
That's cool, though.
I guess you get good at it after a while. I mean, you get,
Is the talking about the difference in the Jeep guys is most all, I mean, we're generalizing here, but who better to ask than somebody that's been in it as long as you have? Are most Jeep guys long-termers like you and have been in it for so long, and is most of their projects a constant work in progress? So it's like you said, it's a hobby. So they're always doing something, either changing something or adding to it. Where most of our customers in 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, or any of those kind of things, it's kind of like I'm going to build this, and they build it, and then they go and enjoy it. But they're not constantly doing upgrades or changing suspension or changing stuff like that. It seems from this conversation and other conversations that we've had that Jeep guys are kind of tinkerers. Mm-hmm. Like they don't want the Jeep to be finalized and finished and buy all the parts in it, be a perfect rock crawler. Even if it was, they would probably either break it or find something that they want to make better and make different. Like I'm overgeneralizing and assuming.
No, that's exactly it. All my Jeep friends have had the same Jeeps forever, and they just keep screwing with them, and it's just what we, I don't know why, but I would like to, after owning this for, I think the math is 48 years, I'd like to say I'm done with it, but I got a lot of stuff I still want to do. It's nuts.
It's interesting.
I'll probably be buried in it. Just dig a big hole and stick me in the Jeep and bury me in it. But yeah, all my friends are that way too. They've had the same Jeeps, and they just keep. They never sell the Jeep they have. They may buy some new other Jeeps, but they just keep screwing with them.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the moral of the story, the takeaway from all this is Jeep guys way more badass than Bronco guys. Is that a fair assumption?
Based on this conversation, I think that's the only assumption you can make. Yeah.
Some of us would like to be.
I'm just picking.
Yeah, some of us would like to be Bronco guys. We just can't afford it. I mean, my God, I had one in high school, '73, and dang it, I wish I hadn't sold it.
Well, pivoting a little bit back into the knife stuff, we've had guys from all walks of life, all industries, and a couple of knife guys and stuff like this guests. And I've always wanted to get into it, and we've never been able to. But I want to give the listeners some tips from you as far as guys that are getting into knives. We get questions all the time from guys that are I was really into whiskey and I've been listening, but I didn't know anything about knives, and now I've been buying some knives, or vice versa. Guys are into knives and hey, I'm learning whiskey. So we get questions all the time. We are the worst people to ask on any of that kind of stuff, because generally we buy a knife because it looks cool, and we buy whiskey because it might be expensive, or we know that it is good. We don't have a lot of great advice of these are the things to look for. If somebody's going out there and they got $100 to spend, right, and they don't know what's cool, they want to buy something that's neat, that's going to last them for a little while, but they also want their friends at the golf club to not make fun of them. The guys that are in the knives not to make fun of them.
The guys at the golf club aren't going to be making fun of them if they pull a knife out. Right, that wasn't a good.
Okay, well, if it's another knife guy,
they're going to be like, "Whoa, dude,
badass."
Yeah. The guy at the poker tournament.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So give some guys some beginner.
Yeah. So I mean, CRKT's we've always been considered kind of the gateway drug. I mean, that's people start with us because we had super good values on our knives, and I think the advice I'd give to anybody is find a maker that you like. Find a custom knife maker. Look at Kin Onion stuff. Look at Kit Carson. Look at Jesper Voxnay or Lucas Burnley here in Oregon. I mean, find a maker that you can associate with and like and try his stuff from CRKT or from whoever, and then start moving up. Start with knife under $100 with G10 and maybe some D2 or something like that, and then as you get to know more and more of that maker and get to know more makers, buy more of their stuff, and eventually you'll be one of those guys who buys $100,000 Michael Walker custom.
There's a lot of other things that have to happen in your life in between,
but eventually,
for that to happen. But
eventually.
you never know.
But the stories are so cool of these makers. These guys are, I mean, it's just like custom rod makers. I mean, they're so cool and so smart, and they're just such a personality, and get to know who they are. And I mean, Lucas Burnley, he's done stuff for Toys R Tots, where he goes out and gets $120,000 that he donates to Toys R Tots. And
wow.
Our Forged in War, our veterans that have given their lives to serve our country. I mean, there's such good stories everywhere, and it's not just CRKT. It's most of the knife brands now are using custom knife makers, and go and learn their story, and then go up and as you go up in materials and design, you'll just get more and more fascinated, and then you'll start to spread out between other makers, and pretty soon you'll find what your jive is.
Yeah, I kind of work backwards when you lay out that kind of progression of that scenario. Yeah, I started buying Microtech OTF knives, right? Because I just thought they were really, really cool. And I kind of look at knives almost like it's all right, you need like a t-shirt. Sometimes you wear a collared shirt, you dress up nice. Sometimes you need a t-shirt.
It's apparel.
So you move them around, and honestly, I found it's probably been a couple of years, and we came across CRKT, and I got the CEO knife, and it's a compared to, I mean, it's a fraction of the cost of a Microtech knife. I prefer it. It is a super cool knife. Yep,
I've got one here.
Yep, got one in my pocket.
Yeah,
right now. The action is awesome. You know, I generally through the day I almost use a knife like a fidget tool because you're sitting there, you're thinking, and you're flipping it, and it's just a great knife. I mean, it fits great. You know, these guys make fun of me if you're going to wear like some slimmer fitting pants or something like that. Man, that sucker fits right in there. But you kind of
that's Richard Rogers right there. I mean, he's a rancher in New Mexico, and when he's got a few minutes, he goes in his shop. He's got a CNC, and he actually has an accounting degree, and he designs these things. But he has the geometry down to where this thing just flips so easy. It's just incredible, you know. It's just so fast, and he's dialed that, and that's his story, you know. And yeah, you should move to his other stuff. Go look at his other stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'll have to check out more of his stuff because I am absolutely like infatuated with the mechanism on this knife. I've got some other like custom knives, some stuff that's significantly more expensive that you really got to kind of lean into on the flipper side to get him to, you know, engage. And
that one
flip.
checks all the boxes.
And this is just a super cool
size wise, and it's unique enough to be a thing that you like to pull out, you know. But it fits in there. I'm rocking the LCK today. I really like it. I love the action on that as well, and it's a little bit bigger.
That's a Matthew Lurch. He's out of Wisconsin. He used to be a tool maker for Harley.
Really?
And on the side he made knives, and then he finally retired from Harley and making knives full time now. And his knives go for $20,000. You know, the custom versions, but you can have that one LCK for, I don't know, $50-$60.
Pictures out there so I can get the since we have an actual knife cam, we got to use the knife cam.
Oh, nice. I like that.
I can't think of many other industries like this where you're taking these guys that are at the absolute top of their game and you're able to use their designs, use their influence, and then bring something to the masses at a pretty reasonable price point. I mean, what else is there? You know, you certainly can't buy tools that way, you know?
No. You can't buy a Snap-on designed tool by somebody else.
There's major lawsuits with that stuff.
No, it is amazing, specifically how the industry has changed and how many companies are doing that model by getting, you know, and following in CRKT's footsteps. But then also, and maybe that's why it is. Maybe that's why there's people. I mean, I'm not joking. I run into people all the time. Couples, we go out to dinner or something like that, and wives are like, oh, you know, he got me a Benchmade, or he got me a this, or and they're wanting to carry pocket knives. I mean, they might not be carrying them in their pocket, but there's something they like. We've had, you know, female guests on before. I mean, Courtney Hanson, when we started looking at knives, and she's like, I'm leaving here with a knife. I got to have a knife. And it's so, I don't know. It's such a thing across all walks of life where there was a time I remember not too long ago when I was 19, 20 years old. If you were walking around with a pocket knife, you know, there was something. People looked at you a certain way sometimes, depending on where you went. You know, you would get asked, like, you know, what do you need that? Maybe it's because it was a Bowie knife on the side on my head.
And I think it was the way the rest of you looked too. You know,
it could be. Right. It could be. It was
the whole package, dude.
It could be. But yeah, both of these are really.
Oh, they're great knives. I've been raving about this CEO for forever. I mean, it's not just, you know, it's funny. You listen to this podcast and you probably think we got the CRKT dude on, and so. Yeah, obviously we got to talk about this knife, but
we talked about him last season.
You can go back into countless podcasts that I've carried that knife, and man, I rave about it. I just love it. And this is $39, $49.
Yeah, $49.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you guys Kyle send you one of these Provokes?
That we did.
Yeah, we've been playing around. Jeremy's cut himself a couple times.
Yeah.
But, cool. This is just an example. You know, this is Joe Caswell out of Thousand Oaks, California. I mean, he just thinks at a different level, and you know, so you have a knife here and you got a little knuckle there if you wanted to knock somebody, non-lethal. Things get bad, you just come down with your thumb. I mean, it's just, who thinks of that stuff?
Yeah.
It's
You know?
interesting.
And then to unlock it, you just do the lever. And
The thought process as far as like the usage of this knife, though.
It's a fighting knife.
It's a self-defense knife.
It's
clearly.
self-defense,
Yeah.
totally self-defense. Yeah.
It's
And we sell a ton to law enforcement. You know, they can put on their vest. It doesn't look like a knife. It's non-offensive, and they can use it to defend themselves.
It takes a little getting used to, but once you kind of figure out the action,
The ergonomics are great.
it's
once you
pretty
figure it
cool.
out.
I mean, it's still, I've played with it quite a bit, and I still struggle a little bit to collapse it. But once you kind of get like used to it, the action's fun.
Yeah.
Did you notice the clip? You know, the clip is zero profile, so you just press down here on this area here, and it just, you know, because most clips are sticking out, they drive you nuts, you know. And
Sure.
This is zero.
Oh.
I mean, it's just laying flat there.
So it's laying flat. Got it. That's
Super
cool.
cool.
Yeah, this is a neat piece. I mean, very innovative.
Yeah.
I was like that when I was a kid. I traded like a bunch of baseball cards to my cousin, and he gave me this. That was called a paratrooper knife, I believe, and it had a very you pull the handle out, and then the blade comes out the center.
Oh,
So as you're pulling it out, and then you push the blade up out of the center, and then you bring the handle back together. And you probably got it at a flea market, so I probably traded him like a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card or something for it. And I think he came out on top, but I've still got it, and it's pretty cool. But I'm always intrigued by the like different actions, you know, the way you can fold these up.
I like that we've got this Graham design, this little
the Razel.
fixed blade. Yeah, the Razel. I like this a lot. Like a lot, but I can't get down with the Kydex sheath. The sheath is a little big.
So John designed that to be a fixed blade pocket carry. So that's supposed to fit down in your front pocket, and the clip goes on the outside. And you can just use the fixed blade like you just store it right there as a front carry.
I'll have to give that a try then that way.
Yeah, give that a try. John was a mechanic. He unfortunately passed away, but he was a mechanic for years, worked for Snap-on too, and super guy. But you know, that blade design is for working on cars and stuff is incredible. You know,
we're suckers for choppers, cleavers,
I love
anything that's got some weight to the blade. And
But with that perfectly like square front blade, what would be? I mean, it's almost like a gasket scraper, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what John designed it for.
It's great. You need to put it in your pocket, because when this showed up, if you do front pocket carry it, it's surprisingly slim, and you don't really know it's there.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to give that a shot.
Because you look at it, it looks, you know, it's a plastic sheath. It looks kind of bulk, but it slides right in there. It's a cool knife.
I have to give it a shot. So what's new on the horizon for CRKT?
Oh man, so we're doing a lot of like I said earlier, CRKT was always known kind of as the value brand, you know, and we'd get those people that come in first in the knife industry and get interested in knives, and they'd start looking at Kit Carson designs or Ken Onion designs, and they'd want to move up into better materials. And we kind of stopped. We went this far, and they didn't have anywhere to go, so they'd go to the custom, or they'd go to other brands with higher end materials. Well, now we're expanding into that, so we can take that person all the way from a beginner all the way to a collector, you know, where they can get Damascus blades and titanium handles and all that. So we got a ton of just high end, super ultra premium products coming out. You guys may have seen the Ken Onion facet with the lasering on it and all those shit.
Got one of those right here. I think that's really cool to bring. Yeah. I like this knife.
Titanium handle. It's light. It's strong. The texture on it with the lasering is just super cool. Ken did a couple of designs. Actually, his son did the texture on it. One being this he kind of calls the viral design. It kind of looks a little zombie-ish. Got the brain etched onto the pivot.
Yeah.
Brain pattern, on there. And then the other one was kind of a World War II aircraft type pattern on there with rivets and propeller on the pivot. Super cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I wonder what it is about a knife. What's the draw? What's the attraction? Like, I see a knife and I have to have it. Like, I want to play with it. I want to touch it. I want to put it in my pocket.
You like gear. You like things. A lot of people do. You like the way it's a machine. It's an item. It's put together. You like the fit, finish, the thing, all that stuff.
It's almost like we had Sean from Autotopia on here just recently, and he was talking about how he's got a lot of interesting people that he deals with. And he said, what was it? Was it the brake horsepower guys or the certain guys that he knows right away?
Pound feet
of torque.
Right.
And he's like,
Or
as soon as somebody says pound feet of torque versus foot pound,
you judge them instantly.
And I think I'm the same. If somebody's like, oh, knife, like I don't carry a knife, or like, what would I do with the knife? It's instant judgment.
Yeah, if somebody says it makes 700 foot-pounds, that's one way of saying it. Or if you say it makes 350 feet-pound of torque, you know.
Right. They're like, oh, no, I don't carry a knife. Yeah, I would never.
But it's amazing how many people don't. I mean, it drives me crazy. You know, I just got back from a trip and outdoor, and there's 30-year-old or 10 30-year-olds there, and you know, 3 of them had knives, and I go, "You guys are outdoors every day. How come you don't carry a knife?" You know, it doesn't make sense to me at all. You know, I've carried one even before I got the knife business, and I just don't get it. But
it is an absolute necessity, like to be a man. I feel like, and just throughout your day, the things that you do, I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't reach for a knife for something.
100%.
And it's problematic when you're traveling. You ever notice?
You feel like you ain't got nothing on.
It is like you're missing a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
When you reach down and you don't feel it there, you got to get on an airplane. You get off the airplane, and all of a sudden, it's just like I'm almost nervous. Like, not that I need it for self-defense. It's
just like I feel like you forgot something.
Yeah, you're so used to having it there, you feel naked without it.
Well, I think it's time. You're working with a bunch of cool designers and a bunch of stuff. We're gonna have to talk later about an oil and whiskey edition or something.
For sure.
Love what you guys are doing.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, we'd be happy to do it and honored to do it. It'd be super cool collaboration.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
You know, I mean, it'd be really fun. Yeah.
We come to the time of the podcast where we ask some of the standard questions. Well, one of the standard questions we've kind of already gone over. One of the standard questions that we ask every guest is your first car and a story about that car. Well, we've already talked about your first car and a story about that car.
Well, that actually wasn't my first. My first was Dad brought home some Fiat when I was like 8 or something with a froze-up engine and said, "Hey, if you can fix it, you can have it." And I took the heads off and pounded the pistons off and out, and it was totally gone. I remember, and I just put the battery in it, and I just turned the key, and we had a circle driveway. I just put it in first gear and turned the key.
Let the starter run.
Started pushing around.
I had the first EV.
Damn.
You were doing this at 8 years old?
Yeah, I was at 8, 10, somewhere in there. Yeah, super young, and yeah, I was totally a motorhead.
Great starter gear and flex plate on that thing.
Yeah, just keep on running.
Yeah, then I just put the battery on the charger and do it again the next day.
Was that just like total accident that you realized that would do that?
Yeah.
Foot off the clutch, turn the key. Oh my God, this thing's moving.
Yeah, once I got the pistons out, you know, and it was unfroze, and I hit the key and it jumped on me. I was like, "Oh, cool! I could go somewhere with this."
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was the first car. I don't even know what it was. It's some kind of foreign Fiat thing or something. I don't even remember. But
probably
and then the Jeep.
Probably a Topolino. For sure, a Topolino.
Then the Jeep, the Jeep, which I still have.
Your favorite car movie and why?
Oh my God, you guys are gonna laugh your ass off on this, but I used to. The Love Bug. I mean, how could you not love Herbie?
That's the first one.
That is good.
That's the first one.
Man,
I mean,
I haven't heard.
It's not very macho or whatever, but that's really what got me into. I mean, I probably watched that movie 20 times, and I was just like, man, I want Herbie.
Yeah.
My sister used to watch that. I remember. We were a big Disney household. So.
Yeah, I used to watch that. My best friend lived next door. We used to watch that. Haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Haven't heard that name, Herbie the Love Bug, in years.
Yeah. Herbie could win all the races, and Yeah, that was my favorite movie.
Dude, you got to look up I think it's Buckshot. They do long travel sand cars. They did a Baja Bug type thing in the Herbie livery, but it's Whipple charged LS 1,000+
Really?
horsepower long travel, and it's like cutting wheelies down. They put it on the street, and it's just ripping.
That's cool.
Wheelies, but it's cool. It's wide.
What's that called?
Buckshot Racing.
Buckshot.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta look that up because man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Pete Kershaw, I would say. Doug, it's not always as good or as bad as it seems. Yeah, he's right.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
that's applicable to get any situation.
Yeah, keep you grounded.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Well, of course, we're going to have to go to what's in your pocket. You got to do a pocket dump. What are you carrying?
Oh, I got the Ken Onion. I got the Ken Onion titanium. I just,
Nice.
love the guy. He's awesome. Love the knife. It's thin. It's got M390. It cuts. It's light. It's to me, it's the perfect knife.
What's your most coveted knife that you own?
I would say it's a custom knife from Stan Fujisaka. And when I went over there to meet Ken Onion in Hawaii, Ken took me to his mentor, Stan Fujisaka, and introduced me, and we met. And Stan, I'd only met Stan once, and he gave me this custom knife, and later he passed away, and I love this knife. It's just the mirror finish on the blade is just, it's like a mirror. It's unbelievable. And he was such a nice guy. I mean, first time I meet him, he gives me a custom knife worth, I don't know how much.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I love that knife.
If you were doing anything else besides what you're doing right now, what would you be doing?
Ooh, I'd love to be building cars. I'd love to be, I'd like to be building hot rods,
Dude, with your I guess patience to flame cut those boxing plates and weld them on,
You'd build a badass hot
you'd
rod.
build a badass hot rod, and just know that you've always
You haven't seen my welding.
you always have a job opportunity here, right? So
Yeah,
when you're
you
ready
haven't
to
seen my
hang it up,
welding. Yeah, you haven't seen my welding. That's I define.
I'd be more.
I grind a lot. Let me just say that I grind a lot.
More interested in seeing the grinding. The finished product's all that matters.
What if you could if you could buy or build any muscle car right now, what would it be?
It's on my list to do, and I am going to do it after when I retire from this knife business. I'm going to build, and I know it's kind of cheesy, but I'm going to build a Cobra, even if it's a kit car. I freaking love the Shelby Cobra. I mean, it's just that to me is just the ultimate there. And,
Let us know when you're
the
ready.
kits are
Maybe we
cool.
can put them together with Super Performance guys.
Yeah. We had
the kits are cool, and I want to find somebody that started and couldn't finish it, and I'll just take it over.
I'm sure there's plenty of those out there.
Yeah.
We had Lance from Super Performance on here, and that man, they are cool. They really are. You can't knock them.
No.
It'll always forever be a badass car.
Yeah. It's I went to that Shelby Museum down there in Vegas, and oh my God, I was just drooling. It's just so cool.
Yeah, there's something like obviously iconic or whatever, but there's something that's just so light, so small, so much horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
Like it
was one of my first die-cast cars too. I had the blue one with the white stripes, and my mom broke the fucking bumper on the front of it. Man, was I pissed! I hold a grudge to this day. I still have the
seems
car
like it.
because, like I told you, I hang on to everything.
Right.
It's still wrapped up, and
you are a pack rat.
yeah. But my kids got all that stuff now.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
Doug, it's been great.
been awesome.
Yes, thank you. It's been awesome.
We have to talk again. We got to talk about that oil and whiskey edition one. And if you're ever in the Chicago area, man, would love to show you around the shop, show you all the stuff we've got going on. I don't know if you ever get out this way.
Love to get there. Yeah, I do. I get out to Snap-on, and Actually, my kid's out moving to Wisconsin here next week. So, yeah.
Well, Snap-on's right in Crystal Lake. They're like 15 minutes from us.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. You
okay.
Give us a shout.
I'll take you up on it.
Do it. Absolutely do it.
I'll do it. Okay.
Had a blast.
Appreciate it, Doug.
Take care.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. To learn more about CRKT, you can visit www.crkt.com. You can keep up to date with CRKT by following them on Instagram at CRKT_knives. We got a whiskey review.
Yeah, we got a whiskey, but jump on the website, buy yourself something. I mean, I'll say, I think people should know by now that we're never going to endorse something that sucks.
100% right.
On this podcast. So we typically seek out people that we like their stuff, right?
Yes.
So long before, like, it's not that the CRK dudes hit us up and we're like, oh, fuck yeah, man. Like, you got to buy these knives. We've been messing with these knives. They're super badass. Love the knives. And then it's like, hey, dude, reach out to the CRK dudes. You got to find
people that have been listening understand that. Yeah. Understand that we don't shove things down their throat for any stupid reason. It's stuff that we like. It's stuff that we are into. It's stuff that we believe in. For the money and the quality, I mean, absolutely pick up one of these.
Yep.
I'm going to say go for the LCK.
By the CEO.
Jared's going to go CEO.
By the CEO, but this thing, all right, this is cool.
The Razel, yeah.
It's very cool, but I don't know what you do with it, right? It does fit nicely in your pocket, but me, I probably wouldn't carry it. Somebody else may, but this little sucker's cool.
Yeah, that's the mini CEO.
The mini CEO, and it's got some little billet scales on it. But it's got the same action. That's a great knife, man.
All right, we're gonna
super cool.
We're gonna see. There's gonna be a picture here.
Here. These are the three.
You're not gonna put the Razel in?
I mean, it's cool.
Okay, if you don't want to put it in, don't put it in.
It's very cool.
All right.
Because to be honest with you, for the guy in the shop environment,
I know.
If you like the way it sits in your pocket, that's a great knife for a body guy, fabricator, mechanic, because that's a useful tool. If they would laser a little Snap-on logo on that and make sure they get it on the Snap-on truck so that you can forever
and ever.
Yeah.
This is not the greatest of pictures here, but these 4 knives, and then hopefully Elliot can put this together. Somebody can put together some screenshots and links of these, but we've got the mini CEO, we got the CEO flipper, we got the Razel, and we've got the LCK. We're going to put a post up and see what the fans have to say. I think they're going LCK. I think that's going to win.
Like visually, that's probably the best looking, a forged carbon handle. It's got a good looking blade. Don't they?
I like the way this one looks.
Don't they make that in a Tonto blade too?
They do.
Yeah. So the Tonto blade, I could get down with that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, great blade, great action, great handle. And it's good size.
I know. The size is really
I still prefer the action on that CEO though.
I like the thinness of the CEO. I know. Yeah.
Whiskey review
time. What are we drinking?
This is a cool whiskey. So we've been Jefferson fans for quite some time. Always loved. I don't think I've had anything bad from the Jefferson's lineup, and we've had the Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea. I think I've had like almost every one of their voyages. Mm-hmm. And where were we? We're walking through liquor store, and you saw that sitting there. And we
were actually buying cigars at the liquor store.
That's right.
And we came through, and it just usually that bottle is just you're gonna walk right by it. We've got them.
So this is this is the one time I feel a little guilty because we're cheating on Garfield's Beverage Warehouse and Liquor Emporium.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was swallowing.
Josh is over at the house, and it's late at night, long work day, and we're like, shit, dude, we should have some cigars tonight. Tonight feels like a cigar kind of night. Lindsay's cooking dinner. It's about ready. Said,
let's run and get some cigars.
We're going to run and get some cigars. So we run over there, snag some cigars. We're at Benny's, and Josh sees this sitting on the shelf. Had no idea that Jefferson's had a weeded mash bill. So typically all of us, we don't have Philip with us this evening, but I will speak on his behalf that he too likes the weeded bourbons. The Weller stuff, weighted at the top of the list. So seeing that, knowing that we all love the Jefferson's Ocean and seeing that they've got something that's weeded, sounded like a home run.
Yep. It was worth a shot.
It's a home run, dude. It's an absolute home run. I thought we'd be let down, to be honest with you.
I did too.
I figured that was, you're going to set your hopes are way up. You get that and you're going to be like, not so good. Phenomenal bourbon. And super sweet, super drinkable, got a little bit of a burn. I don't know, what's the proof on
90.
it? 90 proof.
Which is surprising. I don't think I don't know if it's alcohol. I think it's just a little bit oaky. Not in a bad way.
Little oaky. Yeah, that's 100% buy it. I don't know if that's a rare. Well, we found it on the shelf. It was just sitting there. That was an organic purchase in the wild.
100% in the wild. Not even planned. It's good.
Dude, it's been a minute since we've rated something, so I'm a little fuzzy on, where we left off on the rating system. But I'm gonna go 8-1.
Holy shit!
I'm putting it up there because I like it, and I'd buy it again.
You really like it?
Yeah. It's not a cheap bottle either, right?
I think it was like, it had to be 60 or 70.
Okay.
Wasn't stupid. I'm going.
Are you sure?
I'm going 7.9. It's good.
It's really good. It's not great.
No, it's. I mean, 7.9 still pretty fucking good.
7.9's a serious
7.9's
review,
good,
dude.
Yeah, 7.9's high.
I'm gonna give a disclaimer right now. Like, if there's something that's way better, that's rated like right there or just below it, then I apologize. But I think that's a pretty accurate review.
That is the beauty of these reviews. Right now, when you drank it, you liked it that much that you gave it an 8.1. I liked it that I gave it a 7.9.
I'd say out of anything that I know would be on the shelf, that'd be like right now. Walk into a liquor store and you know what's available, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna flock to that. Right.
We're taking our really good ones that you can sometimes find off the table. Yes, right, we're going to take that IW. We're going to take some of that kind of stuff. It's just any liquor store, just about any time. If you can find this, you're going to go with this over all your other.
Yep. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100% it does. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. Yeah, I think 7.9 and 8.1 is a good ass review.
That's a nice little cluster.
Yeah.
The only, I'll say this, and I'm gonna, just like the barrel bourbons, man, I wish they'd change the damn bottles.
I know.
That's the thing. I honestly and I do like the barrel bourbons, but I don't buy them just because it's like, dude, you change the color.
That's their brand.
On like one line, mix it up a little bit. Get creative.
They don't want to do that.
I want you to do it, though.
I know.
And I'm the consumer.
I know. I mean, you look at this one. It's everything that it always was, and they just put weeded on there.
Yeah, how many people would miss that?
I almost did. It was just by happenstance.
Is the top always that nice little mahogany wood, or is that specific to that one?
The Pritchard's cask is a red one, isn't it? Isn't the Pritchard cask a red?
Don't know.
We're just talking.
Anyway,
now.
Yeah, change the shape of the bottle, for Christ's sake.
Thanks for listening to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. If you like the show, be sure to leave a rating and review. But thanks again to our guest, Doug Flagg. Thanks again to CRKT. Check them out. Buy some knives.
Absolutely.
Tell us about them. Rate these knives that we've got here. We'll see you again next week.